Well, welcome back to the Ropes Family Podcast, episode 57.
Woohoo!
Yeah, hey, I think I say it like it's a big deal every time, but it's just another episode.
It is a big deal.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of podcasts that don't make it past 10, so we're a little bit past that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
But today we have a special guest, Donovan, with us today, Courtney. And so how this happened was Courtney was going to be gone. She just couldn't make it. Billy had a band thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wasn't going to make it. And so I asked Donovan if he could be on it. And he said, well, what are we going to talk about? I said, I don't know.
Good stuff.
And then so I started working on that, just a little bit of things we could talk about with Donovan. And then Courtney said, well, I'll be here. And I said, let's all three be on the podcast. So this is kind of like an impromptu, relaxed podcast. So
Almost like the last part of a staff meeting.
Yeah. Or the
only
middle
the last
part.
Yeah,
part?
middle or yeah.
Yeah, it's like the middle, the beginning, the middle, the end. And this kind of could be a staff meeting. These are kind of the things we do talk about in staff meeting. But Donovan, when you and I were talking in the hallway about what we were going to talk about, you said something about post-Easter and how do we do anything if we need to for after Easter?
Yeah, it was a big Sunday. We talk about it leading up to Easter, that more people attend church, not just here, but everywhere, because it's one of the big days that you do that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And we had big numbers and for us. And so what do you do? I mean, that's just always on my mind. It's you walk away from Sunday, and you saw a lot of faces, and it was a good day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter that we had more. Everything I think was a good. It was a good service.
Yeah.
I think we worshiped well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was just good. But the day after that,
Yeah.
you're always like, oh man, what do you do next, kind of
Mm-hmm.
a thing. And as I was thinking about it Monday or Sunday night, probably, it was the same feeling that I used to get after youth camp.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone. All the vans parked. You're back home, and you're thinking, what's next?
Yeah.
And there's always that temptation to do something bigger, better, whatever it may be, because we enjoy whatever it was that just happened that was big.
Yeah.
And so, and then I've always tried to step back and say, I don't like that feeling, because I'm not trying to recreate what God did Sunday again. That's up to God, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I think in our conversation I said maybe nothing,
Yeah.
because maybe
we don't need to do anything different.
yeah. I mean, really, our Sunday was a normal Sunday, just with more people and focused on the resurrection.
Yeah, which is a big deal.
Yeah,
So,
it is. I mean, it is.
But the last two Sundays, basically, and I understand what you're saying about the youth camp thing, because
Yeah.
D-Now was 2 weeks ago. And the Tuesday after D-Now, I erased all of my D-Now checklist off my whiteboard in my office. And it's like that same kind of coming down feeling like I could take a breath, and then turn around and Easter's the next week, know? And so it's just a different part. So they've been two pretty big Sundays back to back, which has been really fun to see a lot of people come in and even try in our church for the first time.
Sure,
It's been really cool to do that. But I do understand how you feel with the coming down after big Sundays.
Well, I liked Sunday. I liked being able to look out all over the sanctuary, and I always say space.
Mm-hmm.
And you made fun of me this week when I said space. But you remember when you?
No, I don't.
You don't?
But it's okay. I must make fun of you a lot.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm over it. No, but anyway, what I enjoyed about Sunday was being able to look in the room in the sanctuary and to see our normal folks not in their normal seats.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people that were displaced.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
On the front row by herself.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, and to see the ones that aren't necessarily used to being where they are, or even in church, and they're paying attention, and you just hope that somehow through their eagerness to either stay awake or to, whatever it may be, that the things that we've prepped and planned for, that God would be able to soften their hearts, so that maybe the next time they'll go, it wasn't the same as Easter, but it still was good. Good is not a great word for that, but it was still something that touched them that God was able to use. So I enjoyed that aspect of Sunday, that it was different enough because it was Easter, but you got to make those contacts in that way. So anyway,
I think it was good. I was listening to a podcast. I laugh every time I say it, but I do listen to a lot of podcasts. They were talking about a church in Dubai, and they were saying it's just a regular church, but it's had so much impact in that region, in whatever region Dubai is in, in that region. But if you were to go to that service, it would just be a regular church. You know, they teach the Bible, they worship God, they do all the things, and there's nothing special about it. And that's kind of making me think of our church. Not that there's nothing special, but that we're just a regular church. You know, it's comfortable for people to come to. You know, you're not going to get anything crazy out of the ordinary. We're just a regular church that loves God, that teaches the Bible, and that worships God. You know, and I think that's a great thing to try to achieve, you know. But Courtney, you also had a big Sunday, right? Because you had, I don't know how many, bunch of kids.
32 kids.
And so is that a handful to try to handle? You guys had to move to the fellowship hall,
Yes,
right?
we moved to the fellowship hall, and then it was we had 5 of us, 5 adults in there. So it was crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
Did you guys do like stations or?
We did snack mix stations, and every station, the little treat that went in the bag had something to do with following Jesus. So it was really fun, and the kids were really funny.
Yeah.
I had one, while I was talking to him, I was like, I'm sure most of you have a church home, but we'd love to have you back. And he just goes, no, we don't go to church. My parents make me come on Easter. Okay, well, if you'd like to come back, we'd love to have you.
That's the thing too. Like we would love to have that family back. Like there's no, they're just the Easter people. You know, come on, come
Doesn't
back.
matter.
Don't
Come
just be
on.
the Easter people.
if you want to guess who that family was, put it in the comments below.
Don't do that. Don't. Okay. Don't get me in trouble, please.
These are just like staff meetings. That's so funny. But I guess moving on, how do we want to maintain I don't want to say momentum, because like we've said, they're regular Sundays, but how do we maintain this? Because this is a really busy season for the next 4 weeks as far as Sunday mornings go. You know, we had D-Now weekend, Easter, we have Senior Sunday coming up, a baby dedication, hopefully a baptism, and then Mother's Day. You know, we have all these big things happening. How do we maintain the momentum?
I'm advertising VBS like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm about to start, really.
And are you going to do like social media things
Lots of social
they
media. Nothing as funny as Josh's, but
I think you could do really funny ones. I
I don't think so. I don't.
I think you should. I think that would be.
Now it's from your boss. Now
That's
you have
right.
to do it.
Wow. No, actually, I want to
direct
use
order.
the triplet goats for something about kids
Yeah.
Oh, that
because
would
they
be
follow me
good.
around all the time. So I'm like, I want to use them.
Yeah,
That'd
you
be
need
really
to do
fun.
that. That'd be
Figure
good.
it out.
Yep,
Be good.
you can do it. You know, I think for us, for the ministry areas that I have a hand in, I think before we got to this point, we started doing a few things for Sunday school. You know, we were using GroupMe. Sorry, my mind went blank.
Yeah.
To make contact, and we've got a couple of people that have kind of spearheaded that, so they're letting people know. And so I don't know that we're going to do anything different, but what I do hope we do better is to reach the people that they're kind of marginal, that, you know, they're there from time to time, or maybe they've just kind of stepped back because we have grown, we've done all these kind of things. But I'm hoping that through some of these tools that we've started using, that we will be able to bring them on board, you know, and so we'll see some growth. I think momentum will still be moving in a forward direction. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing is really kind of doing that. And, you know, I do think social media, as much as I'm not a big fan of making the little video type things either, but I think they're a necessary thing at this point. I think they get people's attention.
Yeah.
And if we don't promote what we're doing, very few others will. And so that's just part of it. We've got it. And that's the tool that's in front of us right now. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about, what's next.
Yeah, I think just trying to figure out a way to maintain the the high is the wrong word, but yeah, maintain. We talked about last summer about maintaining that church camp high, but I guess this is kind of maintaining, like, keeping it relevant, I guess, for the people that just the last 2 Sundays, keeping it relevant for them. Like, I guess that's how we would do it, was through social media. They don't have to be, the content doesn't have to be perfect to spot on, but it just needs to be out there. And this podcast is playing a role in that, I think.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
it's just drawing people to just kind of, this is an inside look of what we talk about and what we do. But yeah, I think social media is a fun thing to do, even if they're silly videos.
But your D Now video made it into my algorithm now. So I'll
really?
be watching reels on Instagram and it'll come through. I've done it 2 or 3 times now.
Oh, really? Allison made that. And
She did really good.
She's got, or the video had like 1,500 to 1,800 views on Instagram and a little bit more on Facebook. I don't know if that's a lot.
I have no idea. I just know it shows up now.
Yeah, it's just one of those. I think, and it uses the music that it was on it, and just kind of the type of video that Instagram thinks those are good now. So I think that's how that works. Is you just tap into the algorithm somehow. But I don't know what other people are seeing that. Like, where are those people? Are they in like North Carolina or New York, or are they in Lubbock, Texas? I don't know how all that works. But if you have seen it and you want to come to D9 next year, it's going to be about the same time.
Leave a comment below.
Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification.
Yeah.
All the things. So then I guess the next thing that we could talk about is kind of finishing this semester strong. So we've got baccalaureate on May 14th. So we had to kind of adjust our schedules of what we're teaching and doing things. So we have this Wednesday that we're recording, and then next Wednesday that we're doing regular Wednesday activities, and then the May 7th is when we're doing like the end of the year thing. So what are you guys going to, in children's ministry, what are you guys going to be talking about for those next 2 weeks?
Tonight we're talking about Thomas after Jesus rose from the dead. And then next week we're talking about the Great Commission. Then we'll finish with our end of school party.
That's great. And I think that, and we're kind of on that same vein. Our series is called From Resurrection to Return. So we're talking about what we're called to do in between the resurrection, the ascension, and then to Jesus' return. And that's kind of our focus. It's basically being a witness. You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and all to the ends of the earth. That's what we're talking about for the next 2 weeks, just to kind of get that on the forefront of their minds before summer, when they're going to be around a lot of people that they're not normally around. When you go to travel, you could still evangelize. You could still be a witness for Christ in all the things that you go to and all the things you do. And so that's kind of what we're doing to finish the year strong. And then on Wednesday the 7th, we have just kind of a end of the year party. We're going to have shaved ice from Kona. I don't know the difference in shaved ice and snow cones. Are they the same?
No.
Hawaiian shaved ice is different.
If you know what they are, leave a comment.
Yeah.
We want someone to comment, obviously.
I do. No,
That's so funny.
yeah. Shaved ice is exactly what it sounds.
It's
Snow
shaved.
cones are
Soft.
like little pellet type.
Yeah.
Small.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never paid attention that much. I guess it's kind of like frozen yogurt and ice cream. What's the difference? Gooeyiness?
There's a Y
Yeah.
in yogurt.
And custard. I don't even know what custard is. I don't get any of it.
Good.
As long as it's good
He
and
was a
kind of
general.
cold. Oh, General Custard. That's funny. That's a good one. So, Courtney, what summer events do you have coming up?
Well, I already mentioned VBS, but VBS, June 8th through 10th, because that's seared into my brain.
Yeah.
And we will have our registration opening May 1st. So get registered I'm hearing a lot from people that are like, oh, we're going to come. We're bringing these, these friends, these cousins, whatever. So I think it'll be a big year.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We still need a Bible teacher.
Yeah. If you want to teach the Bible stories during VBS,
Comment below.
Please comment
Do
below.
not comment below. Contact us personally.
You can contact below. That'd be hilarious.
No, don't.
Please do that.
Contact us.
Yeah,
Sorry.
contact Courtney. She can.
I think everyone has my phone number. Just let me know.
Yeah, literally everybody has Courtney's phone number.
It's
If you
interesting.
need it right now, I'll read it out on the
Let's
internet.
not do that, but
1-800.
Then we have girls camp and boys camp in June and July,
Nice.
which those are full. But
Yeah. Do you know the themes for, what's the theme for VBS?
VBS is True North, and it's
Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
thank you. Trusting Jesus in a wild world.
Nice.
That
I
took
like
me a second, but
Wild World.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
True North.
it's like Alaska themed.
Have they announced the themes for girls camp and boys camp, or are they
Oh
just
no, we'll just show up and find out.
We get. Are you? And I think Allison told me that you and her are doing a special thing for girls camp. Do
We
you want to
are.
share that?
We're
Share that?
doing the missions little rotation.
Awesome.
Yeah. So y'all are leading that. What do you guys have plans on what you're going to do? I know you can't share where we've gone for sure.
We have a meeting
but to talk about
and
it.
we'll figure it out. Till then, no idea.
That's good. I think that'll be a fun thing. Allison is very passionate about missions, international missions, and all that. So she's really excited about it. I'm sure that you'll over plan and
Sure
have a
will.
lot of fun things to do.
Good at that.
As far as youth, we've got youth camp. We actually added 2 more spots to youth camp yesterday. They're already full. They're already taken. Sorry. So our group is now 57 people to camp. And that's 49 kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a time. And I think it's grown every year since the first time I took kids, and it's grown. So I think it's going to be this one I think will be a new challenge, because there's going to be some kids that I don't know. And I'm also grown a little closer to a lot of the 7th grade kids. And so that'll be also interesting to try to maintain and manage them, because they're a little bit more comfortable around me now. So, so maintaining that and but I think it'll be fun.
But they're so excited. Those
Yeah.
7th graders are
Yeah.
way excited about camp.
Yeah. When they turn 8th graders, they're going to chill out, I think. Just kidding. They're not going to.
No, not these.
They'll never
not
chill
these
out.
kids.
Yeah. And I know some of you guys are listening. I'm so excited to be able to hang out with you guys at camp. It's going to be a good time. But as far as what else is going on over the summer, we're going to have some building changes. We can't quite, they're not quite public everything yet, so we can't quite tell you everything. But there's going to be some building changes going on. We're excited about that.
Yeah, Courtney mentioned VBS, and so the day after VBS, we are going to start doing some work in the sanctuary, replacing flooring and various things.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to figure out a time frame of how long we're not going to be in the sanctuary and what that is going to look like. And so we're talking about in various circles how we're going to approach that. And so I'm excited about some of the possibilities.
Do we want to talk about like the possibility of a tent?
Yeah. So one of the things that we talked about, I'm probably overly excited about this, but I think this would be awesome. And so if we're going to be out for like a couple of weeks, there's really no place in our community where we could be comfortable in worship. I mean, it's not going to be comfortable in a tent, but what we've talked about doing is putting a tent in our front parking lot that we no longer use for parking as much. And of course, doing our worship services there for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever that's going to look like. But during the weeks, at least once a week, have some kind of in the evening worship time and bring in a band, bring in a guest speaker, and just challenge the community. You know, we're not using the word revival, but really that's kind of what we're hoping, that God will rejuvenate the hearts of the faithful within our community and maybe reach out to some others. And so, like I said, we're trying to work on a time frame now so we know exactly what that may look like, and we can kind of broadcast it or advertise it or whatever. Because right now it's just all up in the air with not knowing a few things. And so...
I like the idea of doing like it would be a revival, I guess, but a community outreach thing to where like people that are just in the local ropes, they'll hear what's going on, and they can just kind of wander on over and check it out and maybe meet Jesus. That would be that'd be something really cool that happens. You know,
Yeah, I think he's going to be there.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's,
where 2 or more are gathered. Yeah,
that's right.
it.
Yeah, so
that's where you're going.
anyway, but yeah. So that's as far as the building goes. You know, hope the roof will be done. We're waiting on a few pieces probably a lot of pieces of metal to come in for the caps and things like that. But that'll be done, and then the sanctuary will be next. And it's not a renovation, but it's just, there was some flooring damage and stuff like that we just got to yank a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, and there's just some updates that'll be really, and you and me, Donovan, we can sit and talk about all of our dreams that we could chase and do all the things, and we got to kind of dial those back. But I think it'll be a fun thing, and I think it'll be a good change. Yeah. For as far as updating, this building has looked the same since the 60s when it was built.
63.
Right? So that's 60 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's been a while. It's time. A lot of people change when they're 60. Might as well start changing the sanctuary when it's 60.
Maybe so. Well, we've talked about this before. That the
Sorry.
Did you look at me? I am not 60.
You're almost there.
I'm getting closer.
You're
almost but we talked about one of the history of this church is they have the tradition of, if something is no longer effective or useful, they've torn down 2 different sanctuaries to build this third one. We're not tearing down the sanctuary. You're not going to show up and it's not going to be a pile of rubble. But there's been, the plans we need to do these things, and the people in the past have stepped up and done that. And so we're building on that tradition of redoing some things. And I'm excited about that because, God has been faithful for over 100 years to reveal his will in this church to this community. And we get to be a part of that now. And so, that's kind of where.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to be a part of all the changes, even like the doors going in.
Yeah.
Like you can open a door now and it's not super heavy. They're all light. You can see through the doors. They're all glass doors now. You're not going to get smashed by a door, which is
a nice thing.
Yeah. No longer have cardboard on the windows. Like it's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. We're updating it slowly but surely, and then it's just been nice to have like just a little spruce up of things, and it's been good. But as far as building change, I think that's really everything else. But for the summer and for the next couple of weeks, what are some ways that our listeners can get involved with what we're doing? I know you said you needed some help with VBS. Do you need more than just a Bible teacher?
Yes, we could use a couple more just helpers around. But sign your kids up for VBS.
Yeah.
Grades going into kinder, they're going into 5th.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Are we doing a VBS kickoff or
No, we're not.
Okay. Just kind of the regular.
Just starts on Sunday this year.
Okay.
But we could do it, that morning.
Oh, yeah, VBS
Sunday
kickoff
morning.
Sunday
Come
morning.
to church and we'll kick it off then.
Yeah,
we can do that. I'm going to preach a sermon that's geared towards that theme.
That'll be good.
I'm just going to talk about Alaska a lot. One of the two. I'm not sure.
Something like that.
Nothing has changed. That's going to be just a normal Sunday.
I always like to play or lead worship on the VBS Sundays because, it always looks different. One time it was a jungle theme a couple years ago, and I really wanted to say "Welcome to the Jungle" when I started.
Shocked you didn't.
When we started singing, I think I mentioned the song a little bit, but I really wanted to say "Welcome to the Jungle." If y'all want to, please stand and join us in worship. But
I'm glad you didn't.
We see if I obviously didn't because I still work
have a
here,
job.
So
yeah,
right. But are there any other ways that people can get involved as far as like when we do some of the sanctuary renovations? Do we need help with that, or
we may? Like I said, some of it's kind of up in the air as far as how we're going to do a few things, and so just be listening.
Yeah,
Or
we could update you on social media. That might be a good way to do it.
It will definitely be out there. So yep.
Awesome. And then I think for youth, we'll do a couple things during the summer. So if you have a house that's got cool stuff and you want a bunch of kids to come hang out, you can tell me, and we'll plan an event at your house, and we'll do something there. It won't be anything crazy, but it could get crazy.
Goat yoga.
If you have cows, there is a possibility that they would escape with our track record. So, I would recommend locking up your cows.
My fences are all metal.
That's an inside. Sorry, that was an inside joke that didn't make any sense to anybody that's listening. Just us, I guess.
And I just shake my head.
All right, that's all we got this week. We will talk at y'all next week. We've got a busy couple weeks going on. It's almost to the end of the year, but we'll be back with another episode next week. Talk to y'all later. Peace.